You think sleep is about rest. You're wrong. Your body rests, but your brain doesn't. Subscribe for extreme body science. Your brain is fighting for its life. Every second you are awake, something dangerous is happening inside your skull. Not metaphorically, physically. Every thought you have, every memory you recall, every decision you make produces waste, and your brain has nowhere to put it. Unlike the rest of your body, your brain has no conventional waste disposal system, no lymphatic drains, no garbage trucks, so instead, it does something far more extreme. Every second you stay awake, your brain is slowly poisoning itself. A toxic sludge begins to build, invisible, silent, lethal. And if that sludge is not removed, it doesn't just make you tired, it kills brain cells, it damages memory, it rewires personality. So the secret of sleep is not rest, it's cleaning. But here's the disturbing question. How does an organ trapped inside solid bone suddenly clean itself every night? And what happens when it doesn't? Act Y, the metabolic poison. Your brain is the most energy-hungry organ you have. It's only about 2% of your body weight, but it consumes 20% of your total energy. That energy use comes at a cost. Every firing neuron leaves behind chemical debris, broken proteins, metabolic fragments. One of the most dangerous is a protein called amyloid beta. Think of it like sticky glue. When it's produced slowly and cleared efficiently, it's harmless. But when it accumulates, it clumps. And when it clumps, it blocks communication between neurons. It's the same protein found packed inside the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. This isn't future science. This is happening tonight. So why doesn't your brain clean itself during the day? Because it can't. Your waking brain is like a city at rush hour. Every street packed, every lane active, neurons firing non-stop, signals racing everywhere. There is no physical space for cleanup to occur. Garbage trucks can't operate in a city that never sleeps, and the longer you stay awake, the worse the build-up becomes. This is why sleep deprivation doesn't just make you tired, it makes you irritable, impulsive, emotionally unstable. Your brain isn't lazy, it's clogged. Act 2, the glymphatic revelation. For decades, scientists believed the brain had no cleaning system at all. Then, less than 15 years ago, they found something shocking, a hidden plumbing network, the glymphatic system, a system so well hidden that no one noticed it until modern imaging caught it in action. And it only activates under one condition. You must lose consciousness. When you fall asleep, your brain does something radical. Your brain cells physically shrink. Not metaphorically, not functionally, physically, by up to 60%. That shrinkage opens up microscopic tunnels between cells, drainage tunnels. Then cerebrospinal fluid, the clear liquid cushioning your brain, rushes in. It floods the tissue, washes over neurons, and flushes toxic waste out like a pressure washer. Amyloid beta, metabolic debris, chemical residue, all carried away. This is not rest, this is emergency maintenance. Your brain temporarily shuts down conscious thought to save itself from toxic collapse. That's why you can't shortcut sleep. That's why caffeine doesn't replace it. No sleep means no shrinkage. No shrinkage means no drainage. No drainage means poison stays. Act 3, the cost of cheating sleep. Now here's the dangerous part. This system isn't optional. Miss one night and waste builds up fast. Miss many nights and the damage compounds. Studies show that even one night of sleep deprivation increases amyloid beta levels in the brain, chronically shortens sleep, and the cleanup never fully finishes. The sludge stays behind, night after night, year after year. This doesn't just affect memory, it changes emotional regulation, decision-making, risk tolerance. Long-term, it dramatically increases the risk of neurodegenerative disease. Not because sleep loss causes disease overnight, but because the brain never gets the chance to clean itself properly. This is the real cost of all-nighters, of chronic insomnia, of sleeping 5 hours and calling it fine. Sleep is not passive, sleep is not optional, sleep is not rest. Sleep is a mandatory shutdown protocol, a controlled temporary coma your brain enters so it doesn't die from its own waste. And that's the dark secret. Every night, your brain doesn't sleep because it's tired. It shuts down because staying awake is slowly killing it. But the story does not end there. Because if your brain is willing to shut down your entire conscious life just to run this cleaning cycle, it means one thing. It has decided that, for a few hours every night, you are less important than it is. Your plans, your deadlines, your scrolling, all ignored. Your brain chooses survival over your schedule. And when you fight that choice, there is always a price. Short term, the price looks small. You stay up late. You finish the project. You answer the messages. You wake up the next morning with a heavy head, but you are still alive. So you tell yourself it is fine. It is not fine. Inside your brain, the numbers are already shifting. After a night of restricted sleep, reaction time slows. Attention wobbles. Parts of the prefrontal cortex, the region that helps you control impulses and make rational decisions, show reduced activity. At the same time, deeper emotional regions, like the amygdala, respond more strongly to negative events. You are not just tired. You are more emotional, less controlled, and worse at judging risk. The world has not changed. Your brain's ability to handle it has. And that is only after one bad night. Imagine what happens when this becomes your lifestyle. Night after night of cutting corners, of just one more episode, of I will catch up on the weekend. Your brain never gets a full cleaning cycle. The toxic proteins that should have been washed away remain in the tissue. In some long-term studies following thousands of people, those who regularly slept significantly less than 7 hours per night were more likely to develop cognitive decline and dementia as they aged than those who consistently slept longer. The research is careful. Lack of sleep alone does not guarantee disease, but poor sleep and a dirty brain travel together far more often than chance would suggest. Meanwhile, the everyday effects are already visible. You make more mistakes at work. You misread people's expressions. You snap at friends and family. Sleep loss is linked to a higher risk of car crashes, industrial accidents, and medical errors. Your brain's internal cleaning crew did not get to finish the job, and the next day's performance shows it. There is another twist. The brain does not run the same cleaning cycle all night. Deep, slow wave sleep is where the glymphatic system appears to be most active, and that sleep tends to dominate the first half of the night. When you cut your sleep short from 8 hours to 5, you are not just trimming random minutes. You are often chopping off a large portion of that early deep sleep. You wake up before the wash is done. You step out of the shower while your brain is still covered in soap, and over time it gets used to being dirty. But used to it does not mean immune to it. The damage is slow, silent, cumulative. Years later, you call it getting older. You say, my memory is not what it used to be. You laugh when you say you walk into rooms and forget why. But deep inside, your brain might be living with the long-term consequences of 1,000 unfinished cleaning cycles. Here is the part nobody likes to think about. Once enough brain cells are lost, once enough pathways are damaged, you cannot simply catch up on sleep and reverse everything. Good sleep can support the brain you still have. It can help protect the circuits that remain. But it cannot magically regrow the ones that are already gone. That is why your brain treats sleep like a non-negotiable. It is not punishing you. It is protecting itself. Every time you feel that heavy wave of sleepiness, that burning behind your eyes, that mental fog rolling in, it is not weakness. It is your brain pulling the fire alarm, warning you that the toxic load has climbed too high, that the city is clogged, that the garbage trucks are still parked in the depot because you refuse to clear the streets. You can ignore that alarm for a while. You can drown it in caffeine and bright screens. But the debt does not vanish. It moves. From tonight's to-do list into next year's brain health. From this week's productivity into your future ability to think, remember, and stay yourself. So the real question is not, can you get by on less sleep? You probably can. The real question is, what part of your future brain are you willing to sacrifice to keep doing it? Because the biology is clear, sleep is not a luxury upgrade for people with free time. Sleep is a core maintenance program that every brain on this planet runs, from tiny rodents to human beings making billion-dollar decisions. When that program runs well, your brain can handle another day of intense energy use, another avalanche of thoughts, another storm of memories and emotions. When that program is interrupted, night after night, the system slowly destabilizes. Judgment suffers, emotion overreacts, toxic proteins accumulate, and the odds that something goes permanently wrong begin to climb. You think sleep is about rest. It never was. Sleep is the price of keeping your brain alive in a body that forces it to burn energy all day inside a sealed bone container with no ordinary drains. That is why your brain shuts you down. Why it pulls you under, away from your messages, away from your deadlines, away from your waking life. It is not trying to steal your time. It is trying to make sure you are still here tomorrow to care about any of those things at all. Sleep is a mandatory shutdown protocol. A controlled, temporary coma your brain enters to wash away the poison of wakefulness before it can turn into permanent damage. Every night, your brain does not sleep because it is tired. It shuts down because staying awake without cleaning up is slowly killing it. Tap and subscribe to the channel for more such extreme body science. And see what other dark systems inside your own body are silently deciding whether you live or how you lose yourself.